All right, in this lesson we are looking at factoring special forms. Okay, so we have three special forms, and the first one we're going to look at is factoring the difference of two squares. And so what you do is you look for two perfect square terms, okay, with the negative sign in the middle or minus sign in the middle. And I can see that I have that here. X squared and 16 are perfect squares. I have my minus in the middle. So if you have those things, what you're going to do is draw your two sets of parentheses, okay? And then what you do is you're going to square root both of them. Like you're going to say, all right, the only way to split x squared or square root it is into x and x. And it's the first one, so it takes the first spots. And then what is the square root of 16? How does it split? It's going to split into 4 and 4. It'll always be the same number, and you alternate those signs. And that is it. Difference of squares is one of the easiest ones. Okay. All right, number 2 is me trying to trick you. You do have two perfect square terms. You see that 9x squared and that 25, but remember, you have to have that minus in the middle. So if there's no GCF, nothing you can take out, and you don't have your minus, this one is prime. Okay. All right, number 3 works though. All right, so let's look at our first one. 64x to the fourth. Well, go ahead and do your 64. Square root of 64 is going to be 8 and 8. So when you have an x, as long as it's an even power, all you have to do is divide it in half. So it's going to be an x squared and an x squared. And same thing with that y. So when I have 49y to the 10th, it's 7y to the 5th. And I would alternate those signs. Okay. So square root your number, and you're just going to half your x's and y's. All right, when I look at this one, neither 2 nor 18 are perfect squares. So I'm kind of looking at it going, So if you have that case, ask yourself, hey, can I take out a GCF first? Okay, well, between 2 and 18, I can take out a 2. All right, x cubed and x, they both have x's, so I can take out 1. I can also take out 1y. So let's take out that. So if I divide that by 2xy, I'm left with x squared. 2's cancel, the y's cancel, minus, and that, if I'm divided by 2xy, I'm left with 9. Those cancel. Now, this is something I can do. Split your x's, split your 9, alternate your signs, and just like within our previous lesson, anytime you take out a GCF, bring it on the front. Okay. The difference of squares is great. You'll like it. Okay. All right, now perfect square trinomials is our next special form. So what you're doing is looking for a trinomial that has the first and the last being perfect squares. And if you have that case, what you're going to do is check out the middle. So if I look at number 5, then I say, all right, well, x squared and 1, the first and the last, are both perfect squares. So what I want you to do is write the square roots on top. So that would be an x, and the square root of 1 is 1. Okay, and then what you're going to do is ask yourself, could I multiply what's in green and double for the middle? All right, what do you get when you multiply x times 1? You just get x. Could you double it for 2x? If that's the case, then your answer is what's in green plus that middle sign. So I would say, all right, x plus 1, and then what you do is put a little square on it. Okay, now you could work that as an easy trinomial and get the exact same answer. So there's another way to do it. All right, let's see this one. All right, I noticed the x and I noticed 25, so I'm going to write x and a 5. So you say, can I multiply the blue and double it for 10? Well, if you multiply the blue, you get 5x. Can you double 5 for 10? Yep. You take the sign in the middle. That's your answer. And you square it. Okay. All right, this one I see the 9 and the 64, so I'm going to try 3x and I'm going to try an 8. Okay, and I say, all right, can I multiply the red and double it for 48? Well, if you, oh, I left out a y, sorry. What do you get if you multiply the red? You get 24xy. Can you double 24xy for 48? Yep. So there's my answer, 3x plus 8y squared. And then finally, let's see about this one. That would be an 8x and that would be a 1. All right. Could you multiply the green and double it for 16? Well, if you multiply the green, you get 8x. Can you double it for 16x? Yep. So then your answer is 8x minus 1 squared. Now again, you can work those as easy and hard trinomials. That's just, it's a little bit faster this way if everything works out. All right, and then our last special form is cubes. The cubes might be, the sum or difference of cubes might be new to you. So I gave you a list of, those are the cubes that I would expect you to know. Okay, so cubes are two terms. Okay, and you don't care about the sign in the middle as long as you have two perfect cube terms. So the minute I see that x cubed and I see that 64 and 64 is on my list, then I say, all right, I'm good. What you're going to draw me is a binomial and a trinomial. So I want 2 spots by 3 spots. Okay. In your binomial go your cube roots. So you say, all right, what gave me x cubed? Break it back apart into x. And then you say, what gave me 64? Well, you're going to have this list memorized. 64 is 4 cubed. Okay? So that's how you get your little one. All right, now, to get this one over here, okay, your trinomial, okay, you take the first one and you multiply it by itself. So you say, what's x times x? You get x squared. All right, to get the middle, you multiply them together. So you say x times 4, you get 4x. And then to get the last spot, you square the last one. You say 4 times 4, so you get 16. So again, it's the x times itself, and then the two of them together, and then the 4 times itself. That's how you get your 3 spots. To fill in your signs, I told you to use the word cop. You got 3 spots. You copy the sign that the problem came with. It came with a plus. Then you write the opposite of that. The last one's always positive. So copy, opposite, positive. Alright, let's do this one. Draw me a little and a big. Alright, so 27x cubed. I want to break it back apart. Well, 27 is 3 cubed. So that would be a 3x. And then 1 cubed is just, the cube root of it is just 1. Okay, so remember, we do this one times itself, then mix the two of them, and then that one times itself. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x, and 1 times 1 is 1. Alright, 3 spots. Fill in your signs. Copy the sign the problem came with. It came with the minus. Take the opposite of what you just wrote, which would be a plus. The last one's always positive. And we'll get these last 2 cubes. Alright, draw me a little and a big. Alright, 125x to the 6. Well, the 125 is a 5 from my list, you can see. And if it's x to the 6, what you just do is divide it, you divide the exponent by 3. So it would be x squared. Okay, so anytime it's not just plain old x cubed, or if it, even if it is x cubed, you just divide the exponent by 3, and that's what you would get. And then the 8 is a 2. Okay, alright, this one times itself. So what is 5x squared times 5x squared? Alright, that's 25x to the 4th. Alright, now mix them together. What's 5x squared times 2? That's 10x squared, and that's a, there you go. And then now do the 2 times 2, and you get the 4. Alright, copy, opposite, positive. Copy the negative, take the opposite. The last one's always positive. And here's our last one for this lesson. Okay. X cubed, y cubed. Alright, take the cube root of it, you would just get xy. And then 27, cube root of it is 3. Okay. So again, the first one times itself. What is xy times xy? Be x squared, y squared. Alright, now mix them together. What's xy times 3? You get 3xy. And then finally, what's 3 times 3? You get 9. Copy the plus, take the opposite. The last one's always positive. Go try your homework.